makhosi noitongomali siyakhuleka ezinhlonhlweni noitongomali siyakhuleka makhosi noitongomali siyakhuleka ezinhlonhlweni noitongomali.
Hey, Thokozani bazalwane, Thokozani boGogo noMkhulu, amani kwabathandazi. Ngiyanibingelela nina nonke akwabalandeli ababukele baleli page abale YouTube channel ne. Ngithi nje ngifuna ngikuvusela nje abakithi Nkosi yami ngoba ibona abangilekelelayo ukuze ngikwazi ukuthi nginike ulwazi lolo likuqhamuke. So ngivusela nje kugatsha Nkosi yami uboya benyathi obusomsomluko ombongozi ngalwa nina abandlovu isidle ekhanga ngomsobelo sizothi zolo sinto umuntu amazane nani bomthana bathi bathi amadoda makwande ngiphinde nje ngiyavusela Nkosi yami bakithi kobaba ngomakhanya ngonogomada bophathwa kuqhubukuzwa yeye mina ngesitha yithi mababumbaneke abakithi Nkosi yami izidalwa zonke kanye nezithunywa ohadebe Nkosi yami makube kuhle kube mhlophe njengoba sizowenza i-video nje ngesihloko esijule kakhulu esithi Umsamu. But before ngingena phezu kwaso nje ngithi mangicele kunini ukuthi please don't forget to subscribe, please don't forget to like and share my videos. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's so important and I appreciate all that have and yazini ngizonza nje ne if I get to 5,000, and 5,000 is not a big number but it's big to me, so if I get to 5,000 subscribers ngizonza giveaway ne ngizonza giveaway enhle kakhulu that I hope you guys will appreciate. So nje I'll do a giveaway for you guys because ngiyanithanda, and I'll do a giveaway to 3 people, right? 2 will be from, in fact, yazin, let's make it 4. I'm gonna do a giveaway to nje everybody to abantu that subscribe to the channel. So I'm gonna look who's deserving, and yeah, I'll do a giveaway to 2 people on my channel that subscribe, and then I'll do a giveaway to 2 people that become members. So also don't forget to become members of the channel. I would appreciate that support so much. Gizoifake information in terms of the how to become a member on the description. Yeah, you live Idolena. Members, you can become an Mbanda member, Mbanda supporter, and then there's I think Mbanda premium, something like that. But yeah, please do become a member. You can pick any membership you would prefer. I'm gonna put exclusive things on there, and also I have ama perks for my members. So please do become members of my channel. And I appreciate those that have already become members. Ni support each channel yami, support, and I appreciate you guys so much, and I love you guys. So I do it for you. But I push and so I can do this for you guys. In fagele lama video lawa ngifakela futhi ngezinto ezibalekile esimini senu zomoya. Also because le topic ijule kakhulu, ngiyacabanga ukuthi into ezosiza ukuthi I'm going to cover certain factors now. For example, I'm going to cover what is Umsamu. So I'm going to do like a part 1 and a part 2. I'm going to cover what is Umsamu. I'm going to cover the different types of Umsamu. And also I'm going to cover who handles these umsamus, right? So bani abatinda umsam, you know. So I'm gonna cover those in part 1 so that you guys have time to understand it from that perspective, and then ngiphinde futhi ngenze part 2 video of which I will cover when do we bring in a healer when it comes to umsamu and izimo zomsamu. Into ethinta umsamu nje inini la esiletha khona umlaphi ozofika athinte kumsamo sekhaya, because bazalwane, we mustn't forget, umsamo out of all things is actually the most sensitive. It's so sensitive injengenkaba yengane mayisencane, ijule kakhulu, yo bazalwane, it's a lot. Hence why kuhlezi kushiwo kuthiwa mekulunga umsamo, it can actually like ilungisa into eziningi esimeni sakho sempilo. Umsamo mekuthi uright, because ningababona abantu bephopha bemnandi izinto zehla kahle kubona. Isikhathi esiningi labo bantu into zabo ihamba kahle because imsamo iye kubo, umuntu la iphuma khona la idabuka khona ilungile, ayinazi inkinga ezitheni, ayinazi inkinga engalukiseki, inkinga nje mhlambe ezinormal nje njengabantu siphila. So into ethinta umsamo nje is very, very sensitive. It's very, very important. So I'm gonna cover that in part 2 in terms of who to bring in, when to bring in a healer when it comes to umsamo. Also, which healer deals with umsamo, because this right here ila enfike niphambanisele khona or ekuphambanisa into khona, noma nifike niphinde imisebenzi eyi-1, because you don't understand ukuthi which healers deal with umsamo. Not everybody deals with umsamo. Ningakhohliswa abalaphi, ningakhohliswa abantu abafaka izembatho ababopha amabhayi emakhanda bese ngitshela ukuthi hayi no, yabo methe angilungisele. No. Mina ngizonitshela ukuthi which healers deal with umsamo, because it's not for everybody. Awuthinto wonke umuntu, ingakho izinto zenu zizohlala imoshakala, because niqala la ngaqalwa khona, you know. Nenza izinto without really understanding what they are, how you're supposed to do them, and when you're supposed to do them. Okay, so we'll cover that in part 2 of this video. And also izinto ey'mosha umsamo, I'm gonna break it down in terms of iziphi izinto ey'mosha umsamo, iziphi izinto ey'dala ukuthi izinto zigcina sey'petukile zingahambi ngendlela. I've been warned not to use that word because it means something else in Zulu, but ultimately it describes exactly what I'm saying. Ukuthi izinto gcina seziye upside down imoshakele because anazi ukuthi iziphi izinto ezimosha imsamo yenu, imsamo yakhe. And then also uvuswa kanjani umsamo wasekhaya. So I'm going to do a 2-part video because it's so in depth and ijulile. And also bazalwana, I have to make note of this. Ukuthi this is generalizing, ne? In terms of the basic foundation of isimo somsamo. Angakafaki into account amasiko nesiko, because those things also play a role and play a part esimeni somsamo, because kunesimo ekufanele siqaphelelwe or sicophelelwe when it comes to umsamo, and that is also your culture, ukuthi udabuka kwi-background eyisimo kanjani. That plays a huge role as well when it comes to umsamo, because how we treat and how we manage imsamo yethu and what we do for imsamo yethu isn't always going to be exactly the same, because we also have cultural differences. So kune general usiko. Usiko is like, if ngingaphosisi, usiko is general cultural practices. Izinto enjengokulobola, izinto enjengokukhulisa umntwana umemulo, izinto enjengo ukubikwa komntwana ekhaya. So those things are general cultural practices across the board, right? Across various cultures. They do it, but they do it differently, but ultimately bayakwenza. ama-culture ahlukene. So amaNdebele, abeZulu, amaSwati, abaTswana, abeSuthu, amaXhosa. Ultimately, we all have ways where we do these things, but siyazenza. So that is basic tradition, usiko. Izinto that is a cultural process. Njengawo amalobolo, it's across the board. Into kanjalo. Then you have isiko. Isiko is a practice of a particular clan or a practice of a particular home. So, for example, kunesiko elenziwa abantu bakaDlamini, kunesiko elenziwa abantu bakaMakhanya, for example, nabantu bakaNdlovu. So uthola ukuthi it's a cultural ngiyabakhohlwa khona laba abagcabayo into eyenziwa abantu baleso sibongo thizeni, ngiyasikhohlwa, ngiyongikhumbuzisa kwama-comment. Kodwa abantu baleso sibongo leso uthola ukuthi umntwana nje mezelwe waleso sibongo uyagcatshwa ebusweni. Izinto kanjalo yisiko that isn't a general cultural practice, but it is specific to a particular clan or a particular family or a particular surname. So into kanjalo eziyusiko. So those things also play a part or a very significant role when it comes to izinto zomsamo. You know, so lezo zinto lezo angifakanga into account when it comes to izinto engizoyichaza within this isihloko. So please bear with me and know ukuthi uMakhosithandi akakwazi konke, but lokho engikwaziyo ngizoncushisa nginilekelele ukuze nikwazi ukuthi nani masiniya kwabantu abahlolayo, masiniya kwabalaphi abazofika batshela ukuthi umsamo wakini iphambene or umsamo wakini wonakele or umsamo wakini awuhambi ngendlela, umsamo wakini udinga ukulungiswa. All those things you have an understanding ukuthi kahle kahle kukhulunywa ngani, ne? So again, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Please don't forget to like, share, and comment. And also, please do follow me on Instagram and Facebook. The handles are at Makhosi on Facebook and at Makhosi_Thandi on Instagram. So please do go follow me there. And I also do post some videos and stuff when it comes to my socials as well. All right, so just to get into it next, what is Umsamu? Okay, so Umsamu is basically ikhaya or a home. So Umsamu is basically ikhaya or a home yamadlozi or yabantu abadala. It's indlu yaboGogo noMkhulu of your lineage. So where you come from, so where you stem from. La odabuka khona, la inkaba yakho efiki ikhale khona, ne? So it's where you come from, it's where you stem from. It's you are because they were. Ilelo khaya lelo. Umsamo omkhulu. Khona umsamo omkhulu nomsamo omncane. So loyo kuthiwa umsamo omkhulu, where zonke ingane, so your cousins, your second cousins, nje nonke as a family la fike nidabuke khona kuthiwa ayike laphaya ikhaya elikhulu la koNdlovu or laphaya ikhaya elikhulu la koMakhanya. That's umsamo, where bonke abantu asebahambayo from that particular lineage bafike mayade beshonile benzela umsebenzi babuyiswe ekhaya, bafike babuyiswe ekhaya kuleyo ndlu leyo, bafake kuleyo ndlu leyo, kuthiwa hayike senyangena ke ekhaya, nansi indawo yenu la nizofike nihlale khona. All right, umsamo ke loyo yindlu yaboGogo naboMkhulu bonke abahambayo bakuleli khaya. Umsamo omkhulu loyo. So nonke menenkinga, nonke menecelo, menibikwa nibikwe ekhaya, uwona umsamo enifike niyobikwe kuwona loyo. umsamo omkhulu. Bese kuba khona into ekuthiwa umsamo omncane. Umsamo omncane is umsamo njengoba ngizalwa, ne? Let's say my mom, even though akuyona into yabantu besifazane, okay, angisho nje umalume ekhaya useyaphuma kwikhaya elikhulu, useganiwe and usenomuzi wakhe. Mase nomuzi wakhe, so basically your uncle or whoever, an elder or who's a father figure, so like an uncle or ubaba, ne? They now are married, and they are, are now moving to their own home, their own property. What happens is, kuyabikwa ekhaya ukuthi okay, nangu so and so, umntwana uyahamba la ekhaya, useyakha umuzi wakhe, umuvela eMlazi or eClermont or kwaMashu or eHarding or wherever, eMhlanga, wherever you're moving to, doesn't really matter. Umntwana lo useyamuva, useyohlala nomkakhe ney'ngane or nomkakhe kuphela, depending what the situation is, useyohlala endaweni yokuthi uzowenza umsebenzi wokunifaka lapho abika umuzi. So what happens is that person, that uncle, that father, uzofika ke umuntu omdala, so an elder from that person. So for example, like a grandfather uzobika, grandfather ke asho ukuthi okay, nangu so and so uyahamba ke uyendaweni ukuthi useyohlala, useyaqhuba ikhaya lakhe, useyakha ikhaya, whatever that they're going to do, but they're going to be living there. Uzohamba ke ayohlala khona, uyonikhombisa umuzi wakhe, anifake khona. So a process is done ukuthi ke kubikwe lapho kulo msamo omkhulu, umsamo wasekhaya, ukuthi okay, seke umntwana lo usehamba uye endaweni ukuthi so wenza umsebenzi la, maqedwe wenza umsebenzi la, kuhanje kiwe lapho, azoshiselwa impepho lapho, kukhulunywe lapho, kwenziwe nje process yakhona. Angifuni ukuyichaza kakhulu because as healers we all do it differently. So angifuni ukuthi this is how it's done, because healers do it, and actually umsebenzi that some families do on their own without a healer. So I don't wanna infringe on that, nginike an idea of this is how it's supposed to be done, when, as I said, kunesiko or usiko lasekhaya that is done, that engaka include in this conversation. So angifuni ukuchaza into ebe amasiko abantu ayahluka, but ultimately generalizing, this is how traditionally it's done. Kuthathu kubikweke lapho kumsamo omkhulu, kuyiwe kumsamo omncane, or kulo muzi loyo kuzohlala khona lo muntu, abikelwe athulwe lapho uthi okay, kulo muzi wakhe uyena ozoshisa impepho, uyena wenza ukuthi, yena wenza ukuthi, kukhulunywe nje, kuhlatshwe, kube njalo, kube happy, kube mnandi. Lapho kuthiwa umsamo omncane, but ultimately mekhona into that touches on the family as a whole, they still have to go back to umsamo omkhulu and benza umsebenzi lapho. But ukuba nomsamo omncane helps ukuthi angadingi ukuthi ahlale alokhu ebuyela kwikhaya elikhulu, ezinye izinto akwazi ukuthi azenzele kulo msamo wakhe omncane. For example, njengani nje, mhlawumbe mefuna ukucela into ethile, mhlawumbe sithi ufuna ukunyusela isikhundla emsebenzini, akwazi ukuthi azenzele itiye lapho, enze inkukhu or enze imbuzi, whatever that they decide to do, enze itiye ke lelo, and then akhoneke ukuthi acela isikhundla ke emsebenzini. So into kanjalo, like lightweight stuff that akwazi ukuthi azenzele kumsamo wakhe omncane. Alright, but ultimately sincelaphi, sincela kulo msamo omkhulu. So mekonakala kulo msamo omkhulu, kuzokonakala nakulo msamo omncane. But ultimately, it's into kanjalo. It's umsamo omkhulu, ikhaya elikhulu. Umsamo omncane is my home. It's my umsamo. That type of a thing. Alright, so umsamo ke loyo. Then there's the different types of umsamo. Bazalwane, this is very, very important to note because when you confuse the two, a lot of things can go wrong, and you end up making ancestors. Oh, but yeah, a lot of things can go wrong with this, and idalela abadala ulagi to such a point where they don't even want to communicate with you. Abayizwa indaba yakho, abayihoyi indaba yakho, iyabahlehlisa kunokuthi basondeze. So this is very, very important to note. The different types of umsamu ihlukene kawu-4. Khona umsamu wako baba. So umsamu loyo is from your father's side, and not all of us belong to the father's side. Okay? So even when you have your own home, ungagijimi ukuyofaka abadala bakaqala lako baba kule side lako baba. Don't do that because it messes up so much, and you mess up even your children. Umosha into zakho kunganasdingo. And also isikhathi esiningi abantu on the father side haven't finished what they were supposed to finish ekhaya lago mama wako. So don't be rushing things just ukuthi hayi mina ngwaka so and so, you know, and njengami hayi ngwaka makhanya, so yabo nje ngwasebukhosini, so you know I need to use the surname, I need to, you know, ngirokhe nalesibongo lesi and ngenza izinto ngifaka abantu bamakhanya. No, it doesn't work like that. Uyayimosha izinto zakho. So you need to understand ukuthi umsamo wako baba or wako baba, and it doesn't mean that necessarily fanele wenza izinto zakhona if you do not belong there. And then kunomsama wako khaya komalume. Komalume is umsamo wako mama, so on your mother's side, of which most of us belong, because why? Obaba bethu bebengazenzi into right. So sagcina sikhuselephi komama, because iside la komama liyabalola abantwana bayo lithi yazini, no matter what, this child has nowhere else to go but here. So I'm going to make sure ukuthi uya succeed in life. And ikhaya la komalume bazalwane, I have to be very straightforward with you. It's usually the strongest, and it's usually the most powerful, and it's usually the most dominant iside la komama. Then kube khona ke the umsamu of a marital home. Umsamu of a marital home is a bit complex, but ngizozama ukuyisimplify. All right. So umsamu of a marital home usually works like this. Nakhona ngiya-generalize, there's a lot of izinto that come into play when it comes to this. So mina ngisakhuluma nge-situation esimple. Situation simple. Okay, I come from my grandfather and my grandmother bacaca nabo bashadile. Ugogo noMkhulu ne bashadile. Ugogo wami noMkhulu wami bashada bacaca baphelele. Then kuvela ukuthi okay, mhlambe for example kube nesimo esivela ukuthi no kumele ukuthi bafakwe nabakomama. So abaka umkhulu wami njoba kaNdlovu uyakwazi ukuthi athathe abakakhulu wami abakamthiyane abafake umsami, kube umsamo odwa la afika ashisa khona impepho yena. Uyishisa mhlawumbe mekuthi khona into afanele ayibikele for my grandmother's side bakomthiyane, right? Kube khona into ayibikayo for that, or whatever the case may be. There's a lot of reasons that come behind it. So bayakhona ukuthi mebenza umsamo wabo enza umsamo ozoba nabantu bakaNdlovu nabantu bakakhulu wami bakamthiyane. But also njengomkhulu wami wayenabantu abadala, wayenedlozi in fact, kufanele athwase. So mekuthi udla igobongo kuvela ukuthi okay fanele abe nomsamo wakhe. So then what they do is abakoNdlovu they're gonna designate indawo bethi okay le ndawo le kuzoba indawo yakamakoti yakumthiyane amadlozi akubo. So umedla igobonga akhona ukuthi adlele lapho kuleyo ndawo allocate ukuthi eyakomthiyane yabantu bakakhulu wami. So bafakwe ke on that aspect abantu bakakhulu wami. Or kuvela ukuthi okay no kunezinto afanele enzelwe zona but akadingi ukuthi azaye kubo, angakhona ukuthi ke bese kwenza umsamo omncane, akhona ukuthi enzelwe yena, akhona ukuthi whatever that she may need akhona ukuthi enzele lapho. So things like that happen where a marital home, they'll have both ancestors, they'll have from the wife and from the husband. Bakhona ukuthi ke babe ndawonye or bahlukaniselwe indawo. It just depends again njoba ngisho ukuthi usiko lalapho lithini or umndeni walapho amasiko abo bawo practice kanjani. Okay, so that's a marital home. Then bese kuba khona umsamo umuntu olaphayo. Bazalwane, a lot of people make the mistake of ukuthatha umuntu mhlambe njengami ngahamba ngayothwasa sengiyabuya ekhaya anginaso isigodlo, angakhela isigodlo eceleni, ngiyathathwa mase ngibuyiswa ekhaya ngifakwe endlini yabantu abadala. You don't do that. You don't do that because there are things that you do as umlapi that will not be appreciated or make abanye ama ancestors happy or bazizwe behloniphekile. For example, thina as abalaphi kuyafana ne doctor's room, I doctor's office. Sifika umuntu laphana simdunisisa simqhatha, sifika umuntu laphana simgcabe simkhumulisa benqunu, uyadunusa ke lo muntu omsamuke lo muntu ufika afuthe or agqume la ekhaya unqune endlini yabantu abadala. Zonke lezi zinto ayithandeki. Phinde futhi umuntu uthola ukuthi khona umuntu ofikile la esigodlweni adelele nabantu abawu5 during the week, abantu abahlukahlukene, melele nabantu abahlukahlukene, kufike kuba umnuku lapha emsamo, akagezange ngithi ufika wangena nje esigodlweni. Phinde futhi uthola ukuthi umuntu osifazane for example ungena esikhathini noma wayikhipha isisu, noma uthola ukuthi kufika abantu ade beshonelwe. Yonke lento ayithandeki emsamo. So because ayithandeki emsamo ifika ingcolise labantu laba abangahamselani na zonke lezi zinto lezi, because there's strict ways of doing things and carrying yourself when it comes to into ethinta emsamo. And I think a lot of people don't understand that umsamo or isigodlo somlaphi senza into eziningi ezahlukahlukene, and because of that lezo zinto lezo ihlale zinganuki kahle kwabadala or zingehli kahle kwabadala. So because of that we mustn't, kunamakhehla nje sithi ngena umuntu osifazane la ade bize nje ade sesikhathini uyanuka lento, unuka ama period, kufika ke amakhehla akithi kasenyanyileke manje angry manje ukuthi why lo muntu osifazane engene lana ukunuku engekho clean, yonke leyo nto, it's a mess. So umsamo womuntu olaphayo has to always be separate. It can't be combined with umsamo wamathongo, umsamo wabantu abadala. Okay, hence why I think there's also a confusion when it comes to people and the initiation, because kunabantu abadala kunethongo and kunedlozi. Those two things are very, very separate. So we need to work with that understanding, and it starts with understanding what it is when we speak on umsamo, so that you can then grasp what it is when you speak on indlozi. Okay, so when it comes to these four separate things, it's also important, or there's four different types of umsamo. It's also important to note who handles labo umsamo. Now you must always note what it's always the elders of the family. So if you're blessed enough with your grandfather, unlike me, where My grandfathers, both of them, from my father's side and my mother's side, Sabashon. When it comes to who handles Umsamu, it's the elders of the family. But you also have to note, it gets tricky. It's not just about ukuthi uba umdala, but it also boils down to where do you belong, nokuthi umdala ngesiphi isimo. Alright, and then kube khona i-twist. Abadala basemsamo bayakhona futhi ukuyikhethela ukuthi nangu umuntu esifuna ukuthi abe umxhumanisi, yabo, abe umuntu that connects us to the family. Okay, so those things are very, very important to note. So when you speak on ukuthi uba ophethe umsamo wasekhaya or uba noshisa impepho ekhaya, lo muntu is usually the owner of umkhonto wasekhaya, and umkhonto wasekhaya is like it's like it gets handed down per generation. So each, like uMkhulu will give it to one of his sons will actually give it to either the next in line or one of his sons. It just depends on the situation. So umkhonto wasekhaya is almost like it's almost like a isihlalo sobukhosi, or like ibizwa ngani lento, what's it called, the thing that you hand down from generation to the ifa lakho. So it's like ifa lakho. So basically how it works is like this, right? Umkhonto sekhaya or is handed down from generation to generation, and it's the men of the family that handle umkhonto wasekhaya at all times. You must never forget that. The men of the family are the ones that deal with ukshisa impepho ekhaya. Let's not try and make it like a female thing. Oh no, my sister or my no. It's the men of the family that handle umkhonto wasekhaya. But there are alterations based on the situation. And those things are things that would first need to be understood and spoken to privately, because angifuna generalize into, because each family is different. Kunezinto esingakhona ukuthi discuss kanje, but esifanele sispecify when we deal with a particular family ukuthi okay, nansi indlela esomisa ngayo okuyiyona. But you have to know ukuthi, unfortunately, when it comes to culture, when it comes to tradition, it's very sexist. It's very sexist. Imile ukuthi indoda ephatha umkhonto wasekhaya, not umuntu esifazane. So we must stop acting like there's this 50-50 when it comes to tradition. There's no 50-50. Unfortunately, usiko, tradition, culture was built on patriarchy. It was built on sexism. Ukuthi abantu besilisa benza into ethile, abantu besifazane abayenzi. Unfortunately, it's the case. So angifuni ukuthi ngoba nakho you're the woman, you're the oldest in the family. It doesn't work like that. The woman in the family can be 100 and have a brother that is 60 years old, but your brother will be the one also part of umkhonto wasekhaya. That's just how it is. But again, there are a few situations that would have to be spoken to or spoken about privately, so that we can have better understanding when it comes to them and that particular family. Anyway, moving on. So mo muntu ophethe umsamo wako malume, right? Angiqale lapho. On your mother's side, umuntu oshisa impepho go malume on the mother's side has to be the eldest son. All right. If, for example, akasekho ubaba, akasekho umuntu omdala in the family, it's the eldest son. When it comes to abantu emdenini in the family, wako malume but the eldest son, I think I can't be clearer than that, of the family. So the eldest son of the family that belongs to go malume. So that is the child of the parents abagumsam loyo, that particular umsam. Okay. So the eldest son is the one omnikazi womkhonto if they belong to that surname. If nabo they belong to another surname, right? Then they can't be the ones abashisa impepho lapha ekhaya. It just doesn't work like that. Because a lot of things go wrong because abantu, for example, ne, I'm gonna make an example about my family. So on my mother's side has there's 6 boys, all right? Bonga bagandlov. Okay. But those boys, right, have sons. Okay. They have sons. So I see together, then all my uncles die. Then the people that are left are my uncle's sons. None of my uncles, oh, wait. Only one, actually. Oh, okay. One of my uncles, actually, inganyake, or the mother, waqaqa. So the kids actually belong to the Ndlovu surname. But if they hadn't gotten traditionally married, then there would be no boys Gandlov. Unfortunately, there would be no boys Gandlov. Because all of these kids, Kona, Ekaya, that are the sons to my uncles, Abakatanga, all of them would belong to their mother's surnames. So they wouldn't belong to the clan Yasekaya Yagandlov. So then what happens? Right? You'll find some families, ingan zakona, like for example my uncle's kids, but they actually have no right to Kshisimpepo Gandlov because they belong to the surname Yabo Mamabo. They don't belong to the surname Yasekaya Gandlov. Alright. So then what happens in that case? Okay? In that case, I'm a healer, so I would be the person that does that. But then we look at number 1, ubani mekhuluma Umsamu, the ancestors want to listen to or want to hear their plea. Okay, so then it looks at when it comes to the elder woman, for example, my grandmother is still alive. My grandmother is no longer sexually active. Okay, I'm very proud of that. My grandmother is clean. So my grandmother is not sexually active. My grandmother agasai ma period. So my grandmother would be the person Oshisimpepekai. Okay. If then she passes on, then it would look to who then the ancestors, and they would reveal by dreams, Guti, this is the person we pick. But in Vamisa, we would first look at the eldest in the family. And that would be like my aunts, once in terms of her brothers. If once my uncles pass on, then they would look at the females in that aspect. But mesimo ko malume nje o malume bashisimpepeka, and it would be the eldest son. Meshona, then it would be the son that follows him. Then Meshona yena, it would be the son that follows him. Kuyohamba kanjalo ke ko malume. Okay. Then on my father's side, you need to understand when it comes to the father's side, umuntu shisimpepho, umuntu is the child that is born within the marriage. And that's again another unfortunate case, but when it comes to esbongweni, you always need to know the child that is born in the marriage, you know, and not the marriage or a traditional marriage. A child that is born once a couple is married is considered the eldest child when it comes to Umsamu. It's unfortunate, but it's usually the case. But again, there are other factors to consider. Some cultures may work a little bit differently. But standardly, amasiko avamisa ukusebenza kanjalo ukuthi umntwana lo zalelwe emshadweni wosiko, umshado that involves ancestors. Lo mshado loyo, lo mntwana loyo kubo yena o considered the eldest in the family. And uyena ophatha umkhonto wasekhaya. So the person that would then ashisimpepo ekhaya would be the child that comes from that marriage. So if, for example, Bless my father's heart, as useless as he's been in my life, but he hasn't had children outside of me and my brother. So my brother would be the person if my mom and my dad had been married, would be the person oshisimpepo kai gababa, right, if he had come from the marriage. But if my father, for example, Joba, he never got married to my mom traditionally, my father then has a child in a marriage, yabo, with some other woman, then that child would have been considered the eldest, and my brother, as much as he is my birth father's first son, would not have been the person okwazi ukushisa impepho ekhaya la baba kumina, because he's not born from a marriage. He's not born from a traditional marriage. He by definition is born out of wedlock. So umuntu that would have been the person oshisimpepo from the father's side would have been umntwana lo that comes from the marriage. So that's how it usually works when it comes to indaba yokuthi who handles umsamu. All right, and in the marital home, the person that handles umsamu is the husband. And even if like he has another brother who's older than him, when it comes to the marital home, the only person that touches kulo umsamu is the husband. Once he passes on, the wife never ever ushisimpepe umsamu. The only person ushisimpepe umsamu, for example, the wife, if the wife then the wife's husband uyashona passes on, then she would have to go get one of her husband's brothers and to come and ashisimpepo in the marital home, because she can never touch impepo in the marital home. So people must stop being married to people and think ukuthi, okay, just because my husband's gone, I then take over. No. Umsamu from the marital home uthintwa ubaba wekhaya only, and once he passes on, one of his brothers has to be the person othinta kulo umsamu, not anybody else. So that's another thing that people make the mistake of doing. All right, that's the marital home. Now once the kids are old enough, then ibona from the eldest child, though it's the eldest child, then uyena uzokwazi ukuthi athinte lo umsamo, and he won't need to call one of his father, one of obaba umdala or obaba umncane bakhe, so his father's brothers, he won't need to call them, because now he's old enough ukuthi ashise impepho akhulume umsamo. So that's a marital home. Then umsamo umuntu olaphayo. Bazalwane, if I die as a healer, no one is allowed to come to my umsamo and start burning impepho and doing things. It doesn't work like that. None of my matwases or ex-matwases or whatever are allowed to come and just touch things or think that they have rights to lo umsamo. No one has rights to lo umsamo. Once I pass on, I will give my children, I will choose my kids who does what, who I'm leaving what to, but my main things are buried with me. So people might stop, they must stop playing, and doing things ukuthi lento umsamo umlaphi, ukuthi now it's for everybody. No. No. Umsamo umlaphi, if a healer in that family, unless the healer in that family specifically says to a particular child, I'm going to leave 1, 2, and 3 to you. You're the only person that can take these things. You can't just assume, because these belong to my grandmother or these belong to my grandfather, that they are for you to touch. No. It doesn't work like that, because umsamo umlaphi now is just as sensitive. So that brings me to the end of my video. I'll be doing part 2 as well, because if I do all of this in one video, the video is going to be way too long, and it's going to take days and days and days to upload. So yeah, Thank you for watching. And again, please don't forget to subscribe. Please don't forget to be members of my channel. I think the cheapest package, La Payana, I think it's like 15 Rand or 29 Rand, something like that, per month. So Bazalan, that's not a lot, you know, to support the channel and stuff like that. So please become members of my Mbande via that way. Please do support the channel. I love you guys so much. And because I have to do this, because every single video I'm asked, what's your number? Oh my gosh, I need to contact you. Number yami, you can WhatsApp me on 081 548. I don't know why the chicken was running like that, but 081 548 4108. It's my phone number, it's my WhatsApp number. Okay. 081 548 4108. And also, please don't forget to follow me on my socials. But thank you so much. Sizoficana soon. I'm gonna upload the next one, I think in a week or in a week and a half, something like that. But be busy as well, Bazalwane. So please bear with me. And also, Yazin, I don't want to keep answering this question, so that's why ngizoyisho manje lana. Ugwai the one that esilgayela wona lo abantu abadala, the one we make from scratch, ne? It comes in 2 sizes for now, unless somebody wants a really big jar. But for now it comes in 2 sizes, and that is 150 gram, if I'm not mistaken, and 60 gram. And bazalwane, look why it's stronger, so you're not gonna keep umningi. In fact, I think it's 60 gram. Yeah, 80 gram lapunchi. But those are the 2 sizes, so that ninga looking both are the same thing. What's the size? The small one is 120 Rand, and then the big one is 250 Rand, and then obviously Korea will set all right, and Korea is 100 Rand. So I'm out so that you don't have the need to ask me. All right, because sometimes ngiba busy, so mase ngasaniphenduli futhi ngiyakhala ukuthi nizothenga kanjani because angiphenduli kanti ngiba busy. All right, so kube kuhle kumhlophe, we shall chat ngantanda, and sizophinda sihlangane in a week and a half. Emakhosini.